now we had this equation here, u1 plus v1 is equal to v2 plus u2. From this equation we're going to find what's v1 and v2. Okay, very simple only. Let's see this now. So what we do is you take this u1, okay, and you take it to last. Okay, so it becomes minus u1. So v1 is equal to v2 plus u2 minus u1. Okay, this is equation here. This equation let's take as equation number 3. Okay, then from this what is v2 equal to? Okay, let me see here. Let me write the equation one more time. Okay, I'll write this side here. So u1 plus v1 is equal to v2 plus u2. Okay, this you can write rougher column. Okay, from this what's v2 equal to? So for that, what do you take this plus u2 is there now? That you take it to this side. Okay, or you can take it to last here. I'll take it here. Here I'll take it here. Okay, so this I'll take it here. Then it's easy. So what will happen? u1 plus v1 minus u2 is equal to v2. Rearrange and write here. Here v2 is equal to u1 plus v1 minus u2. Okay, so this is the equation here. This equation write as equation number 4. Okay, so this equation we're going to use it later to solve the sums. Okay. Okay, now what we done is we got equation 3 and 4 now. So we're going to find the final velocities here. Okay. So let's see this now. Next one, v1 and v2 will find in a different way. Okay. So to find the final velocities, that is v1 and v2. Okay. In a different way, we'll see that how to do it. We're going to take the equation 4 and substitute in equation 1. Okay. Substitute equation 4 in equation 1. Okay, just substitute and see here. So what is equation 1? Okay. Equation 1 was m1 into u1 minus v1. u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 into v2 minus u2. v2 minus u2 here. So instead of v2, we're going to substitute this value here, u1 plus v1 minus u2. Let's do it and see. So m1 into u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 into, instead of v2 we write this term. So u1 plus v1 minus u2 minus this, again u2 is there now. So minus u2 here. So minus u2 is minus 2 u2. Okay. So we here m1 into u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 into u1 plus v1 minus 2 u2. Now multiply this m terms inside. Okay, mass terms inside. So what you have is m1 into u1. Okay, then m1 into minus m1 into v1. Okay, this is equal to m2 into u1 plus m2 into v1 minus 2 m2 u2. Okay, we get this terms here. Now what we do is we'll take this term here, this 2 minus 2 m2 u2. Okay, we'll take this term here, this minus term, we'll take it to here. So let's see what happens. It becomes plus term. So we take m1 u1 minus m1 v1. Okay, minus term will become plus here. So plus 2 m2 u2 is equal to, in this case we have here m2 u1 plus m2 v1. Okay, this term we have here. So I written up to here. Note this down. Okay, in the next step what we're going to do is, okay, we'll take this term here, okay, the u term, and this is a v term here. Okay, we'll just interchange these two. Okay, just interchange this and we'll see what we get here. Okay, you can write this in the page here. Okay, so we get here m1 u1 and then m2 u2 is m2 u1. This goes to left side because minus sign. So minus m2 u1 is equal to, okay, and one more term, okay, forward right here, this 2 m2 u2, 2 m2 u2 is equal to, this term goes right side. So here what we have is m1, okay, m1 v1, it goes right side, plus m2 into v1. Okay. So now let's take the common terms here. Okay. That is this the common term if you see here, the common term is u1 is here. So m1 minus m2 into u1 plus 2m2 u2 is equal to, in this case what's common here, v1 is common. So m1 plus m2 into v1. Okay, now we must find v1, so bring this term downwards here. Okay, so what we have is m1 minus m2, okay, into u1 plus 2m2 u2 divided by this term here, that is m1 plus m2. Okay, right here side we have here, that is v1. Okay. Now what we do is we just reverse it or interchange it here, flip it. So we get v1 is equal to m1 minus m2 divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, just separate it. So into u1. Okay, u1 comes here plus 2m2 u2 divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, so this term we have here. This also you can write in a bracket here, like this. Okay, draw harmonically. Okay, like this here. So u2. So 2m2 by m1 plus m2. Okay, this thing we have here. So next we see similarly for v2. Okay, v2 comes to be, just change this right here. Okay, this term I write first. Okay, that will be 2, instead of writing m2 you write as m1 by again m1 plus m2. Here we have u2, instead of u2 we write as u1. Okay, then plus the second term here, that is m1 minus m2 we had now. You just rearrange and write it. So it will be m2 minus m1 by again m1 plus m2 into, we had here u1, instead of writing u1 you write as u2. Okay. So these two equations we can write as equation number 5 and equation number 6. Okay. Now we're going to use this equation 5 and 6 for the special case here. Okay, that we'll see in the next video. Thank you for watching.